So, friend, you are you interested in lack of skill? Yeah. Or maybe some suck. I'm just a new guy for the love of game. We don't go, I know it's bad. Times have changed, but not by mad. Don't you know that games are my thing? Yeah, I know it's getting real late. Come on, look at me. I even do storytelling. Also a podcast on great game subjects. Okay, yeah, I'm not a Markiplier or a PewDiePie. But hey, that's what makes me so unique, right? 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 What's up, everybody? It's NikoTheLegend, and today we got a special surprise today. Yeah, that sounded a little redundant. Today is a great Niko Show episode because we're talking about all Mass Effect. And oh my gosh, we have a special guest, and I'm about to bring her on right now. But real quick, thanks everybody who came to the Mass Effect stream a couple days ago. You guys are awesome, and I hope we have fun like that again, and maybe perhaps this stream. I don't have the chat running because I don't want Saint and I to be distracted, Saintwolvinn. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about all about Mass Effect. Never had Saintwolvinn on here. We actually just met yesterday, so let's get her on the stream. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, I heard that thump. So, hi, Saintwolvinn. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well, Niko. How you doing?
See, the folks don't know back at home that we already talked to each other for about a good 10 to 20 minutes. So, we got introductions out of the way. But this is our first time ever collabing together, and we met yesterday. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's great. And this was, so I'm going to let you guys know, since this, we haven't done many collabs on the Niko Show, so it's great to be doing one, but this wasn't my idea. This was her idea. So everything that you see today is all thanks to her. So that's a round of applause. I don't have my soundboard on, so I'll do it. Ready for the embarrassing clap?
Damn, that's just a sad clap, man. That's just so sad.
No. I just had the mic turned all the way down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
On your end somehow. Headphones. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so real quick before we talk about Mass Effect, which there's, of course, so much to talk about. And you know what? I've never done a Niko show or a collab with anybody just talking about Mass Effect. It's been on other stuff.
Okay.
But the other stuff, who knows, could happen down the road with her and I. So, depending on how this goes, we'll see if she, makes the cut. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding.
Damn, that's sad.
Yeah,
no
I know,
pressure.
right? This is, like I said, all her idea. Actually, she could cut me. So, Saintwolvinn, am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, Saintwolvinn.
Okay, so let's go through some simple introductions here, Saint. Tell the world a little bit about yourself in terms of just where they can find you and kind of what you're all about. It's going to be like one of those things in college. Stand up and introduce yourself.
Like I have a 3.0 GPA. I'm kidding.
That's
well, well, I make gaming news, and on Twitch sometimes like I'm just getting into it, so I like putting gameplays and stuff like that on Twitch that I don't think would go with my regular channel on YouTube. My literally every single social and everything on the internet is the same. Everything is Saintwolvinn. So you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, find me wherever, and you can say hi if you want. Just go ahead and look at my videos, please. I need money. I'm kidding.
Emojis are welcome. Send those waving emojis at all times.
Send those waving emojis.
Just send them. Whatever service you paid for, that's okay. Just pay it again. Just send them. Yeah, and that's an introduction I like. That's a great one. That's simple and clean, short and sweet. And for anybody who wants to see the links and everything, I'll just have her send those over, and I'll post them in the description, so everybody is got an equal chance of finding it if you guys missed a stream or something like that. All right, cool. Appreciate that. So, I'm NikoTheLegend. You're also known as the well-mannered teenager and the snowflake. Uh, by the way, Saintwolvinn, if that made you go like, okay, then those are not nicknames that I made for myself. Those are nicknames that have been given to me through online gaming or just comments. I've been called a snowflake before. I think it's because of how white I am. I'm gonna go with the simple answer like that with my skin complexion. Two, I was playing. This is oh god, maybe like a few years ago. I was playing Gears of War 4 with somebody in a Gears server I was in on Discord, and he's. It's just the way I was talking. I guess I was just being really polite to my
Yeah.
teammates. I'm like, "Yeah, guys, we can do it. Let's go." And he's like, "You're just like a well-mannered teenager," and it just kind of like they're acting like one. And I'm like, "Bro, you know I'm like 28 at the time." And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
the pride." I don't know. But anyway,
Right.
it's just so, silly stuff like that sticks with you. So now that we have that out of the way, are we ready to talk about Mass Effect, Saint?
Always,
Okay.
always, man, always.
All right. Okay, sweet. I see the YouTube link. Oh, you see, I like that picture. That's a cool picture. Do you have a big picture of that?
I wish, dude. I fucking erased my. I formatted my computer and I lost my damn picture. But I have to make a new one.
Oh,
I'm just
that's
too lazy. I don't want to put myself into doing that.
it's okay.
God
You
damn
know
it.
what? This picture I have of you is the unedited version. This is just you, the abstract version of you, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we're gonna be talking all about Mass Effect, and I think I said this in the video before, and I'm sure I said it in the stream. I talk a lot, and I'm sure as hell talked a lot in the hype stream that I did for N7 Day. Um, Mass Effect is more relevant than it's ever been. I want to say it's like okay, Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah, there's a lot of hype built up to that, but then it started to like fall on its face once people started seeing imagery for it and just trailer. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that gave people the wrong impression. But it was the next Mass Effect game, which is always exciting. And it's on current gen consoles. It's not on 360 or PS3 or, you know, because those games are over a decade,
Yeah.
in age. It's not even like the original Mass Effect 1 was the biggest relevance for the franchise because it's like, what the fuck is Mass Effect, right? Maybe
Yeah.
2. I could see 2 being a huge hype build, but with relevancy. But I'm pretty sure. I have a gut feeling that this is going to be the most prominent time for Mass Effect to ever the entire cosmos where it's been relevant. Same thing with Bioware, but mainly Mass Effect because this is the big cheese. You're bringing back 3 games that has from what I've gathered, and obviously for me, that has shaped a lot of people's lives, has made them think gaming in a different light, just the way on how games are told and story writing and all that jazz, and just the way it's played, and just Mass Effect in general really made people happy until Mass Effect 3 ending. But that's besides the point. Um,
Yeah.
so now we get to see that brought back, and it's just you're kind of just reliving this nostalgic journey. And I don't want to get tunnel vision with this because it's going to be really hard not to, but I'm still cautiously optimistic, and I think that's fair for everyone to think like that because Bioware has been doing no-nos for a while.
Yeah. No.
Uh,
Yeah. Totally.
um, so, with that said, Saint, let me ask you this: what was your origin story for Mass Effect? Like, what got you into the franchise or the series?
Honestly, it was man. Honestly, it was more like of a coincidence. Like when my father like he once got me when I was a little younger. He got me a PlayStation 3, right? When like that generation was pretty much ending, he got me a PlayStation 3. And the guy at the store, like at the GameStop, was like, "Hey, you should take Mass Effect." And we took the trilogy, and I was like, "Okay, let's play this. It has to do with space and aliens." I'm like, "Ooh, aliens!" And I was like 12 or something like that. I was 12 or 11, something like that. So
Dang.
I started playing it, and then I was like, "Man, this is awesome!" And like, obviously, since I was younger, I was like, when like all the fun scenes came on, I was like, "Oh my god, what if my parents see me like playing this game? They're gonna think I'm weird or or whatever."
And did they?
But yeah, yeah, and yeah, they were right. But uh,
Yeah.
it's an awesome series. I have to admit, like I have
Excuse
to
me.
say it's my favorite like gaming franchise ever. I think we talked about that earlier, but
Yeah.
man, I just love it. I'd love it. I want to get a tattoo of it.
Oh, you should
Um
definitely. That'd be a sick idea.
and I love the franchise. That thing here is, well, it's it's the thing about being cautious, with this whole Mass Effect thing, definitely. Cuz like, I mean, it's two games, right? They already flopped two games.
Hmm.
They abandoned one of them, which I think is just, I don't know what's more disrespectful, like putting the B team on Mass Effect Andromeda, or like just abandoning the project and leaving you like, hey, I spent $60. Well, there they go.
Yep.
There they are.
Yep.
So,
$40 million to 5 years worth of work, supposedly, right?
yeah, it's bull, man. I don't know. Like, I can't. I want to be really excited, and I am, but at the same time, I'm like, it's hard to trust that BioWare. I think BioWare just kind of like squandered, its fans' trust, and that
Oh,
that leaves it a little difficult for them.
yeah. I completely agree, and I appreciate that little origin story you did there. It's humble beginnings. Um, I tend to say that to you a lot. I think that's just going to be our catchphrase or catch 20.
Yeah, humble beginnings.
But it's like the question's like, am I wrong, right? But yeah, I completely agree with you on all that because this is, and you want to take the easy way out and just, like, I don't know if this is like a pride thing, but you want to just blame it on EA. But I'm like, well, EA does have some say in it. Maybe, I mean, we don't know how much of that they do have a say in it, but you know, at the end of the day, it's really Bioware that's still making the stuff and releasing it
Exactly.
and being like, yeah, I accept this. This is great. And then it turns out to be not great. So, my point I'm trying to make is that this remastered trilogy, like, I want it to remind us on how great the franchise is as a whole and not just focus on the bad because, like, I've said in videos before that the ending for Mass Effect 3 really, really polarized fans, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And there's going to be new fans when this remastered trilogy comes out because there's people that maybe have never played Mass Effect, or maybe they played Andromeda, maybe they liked it,
Hmm.
but and
I really doubt that they liked it.
they don't know what
I
they're
really
missing
doubt
type
it.
deal. But you see, this
Yeah.
is Bioware's like second wind, their second chance because this is kind of crazy. Like, this remastered trilogy is actually a miracle, to be honest, because think about it. They're working on Anthem, which I don't understand why, but I guess that's an EA type thing. They're working on Anthem, trying to fix that. They were working on remastered trilogy, which is probably no easy thing to do retroactively because it's an old game and those are kind of hard to get a hold of with like source code and, hey, you're into programming, so you should know this, right?
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
easy. It's not easy going back and like retroactively and being like, oh, so this is how we thought 10 years ago. This is what we gotta do to improve it. Anyway, so there's that. There's Dragon Age 4. Okay, that's another big one. And then there's Mass Effect 4. So they got four things they're working on right now. And I don't know if BioWare's ever had such a heavy plate before because back in the day it was just Dragon Age and Mass Effect. And it was like
Yeah.
Mass Effect goes, Dragon Age goes, Mass Effect goes. Now there's Anthem. Now it's just going to be a whole lot of different resources. And Mass Effect has never kind of like advertised itself as like it's never had a remastered trilogy before. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of Mass Effect uh, in the years to come. Just a lot of BioWare coming out, which it has me excited. Still cautiously optimistic, but I think at least with Casey Hudson, I feel more comfortable that he's on the team because this is the guy who also this is the guy who
He came back, right?
yeah, he came back after he saw the insanity of Andromeda. or he came at the tail end, or whatever. It was like the damage was already done. But this is a guy who helped make Knights of the Republic, Jade Empire, and the Mass Effect series, and also destroy it by like the Mass Effect 3 ending. But overall, the guy's got a solid track record. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
So I have faith because he's when you listen to him talk and stuff, he seems like a reasonable guy. He seems pretty cool. I don't know if it's all for show, but I think when the Mass Effect 3 ending happened, he felt really bad. He didn't think that this was the reaction they were gonna get, which that makes me like clench my fist real hard. I'm like, how do you not see this? How do you not see the mob mentality coming after you release this schlock of an ending, right? And then the extended cut. Okay, here's another thing. Bioware is like the only company I've ever known to release an extended cut that helps fix the ending to a game. I'm trying to think, but right now it's coming up with nothing. There's not been any other company who has released some kind of DLC, free add-on, whatever, to help rectify the heinous ending. Because there are plenty of games out there with terrible endings, and they don't do anything. They don't do anything.
That's true.
And it's like, oh, well, they're kind of like, they're standing up for themselves, right? The developers aren't, bowing down to the mob and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, how much abuse are you going to take? And, if it's the majority of populace saying this, then that's got to mean something. I mean,
Yeah.
because overall, your fans, your consumers are the ones buying your games at the end of the day. So if you want them to buy another product, you got to at least impress the masses somewhat or help solve the situation. BioWare is the only company I can think of. Is there anything else that you could think of? I don't think there's anything that a company's done that before, an extended cut.
As in like correcting endings like that way. No,
Yeah.
I haven't heard of any. I do have an issue with the extended cut though.
Yes,
And
let's
it's
hear
that
it.
like, God, like it's the same fucking ending, man. Like it's the same thing. You did like the important thing that I think that like bothered most of us is like not getting like some real closure. Like you
Yeah.
make this huge relationship with a bunch of characters for 3 damn games, and then they're like, oh, you're just gonna die, bye bye, or you're like a reaper, or you're a mix. I don't know, parts of you are everywhere, like in synthesis. I don't think it solved the real issue.
No.
That I think people had with it. Like, yeah, it's cool because the scene with the Normandy and all that, but I don't think that actually gave anyone real closure. Which is funny because, like, okay, you release an extended cut, but what? Like, why did you release it?
It was, yeah, I agree with that. God, what a psychological trip that must have been. Like, what a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was literally as the name was, an extended cut. It was just an extension of that ending. It didn't really change anything. All it did was add on to it. So the original ending, I wasn't mad. I was just confused, and I didn't understand it at all.
Okay.
And I think that's worse when I can't even understand what the fuck was happening on the screen, if it was bad or good. And when I don't have closure like that, that's a problem. I was that special case. I was like the outlier probably. But other people were probably just like, are you fucking kidding me, right? And just with the extended cut, there was some things I did like about it. Like, I liked that they added new music and stuff, which is pretty cool. Also some like alterations of the music, which is also great. More dialogue, of course. Didn't completely solve everything, obviously, but I like the I still like the I still appreciate the work that went into it, even though it should have been there to begin with. But yeah, all in all, at the end of the day, yeah, it didn't pretty much give us the closure that we wanted, in terms of like all the characters you did this and that with, and like what's happening over here. We might have gotten glimpses of it, or maybe some explanation, but also it's really cool to see how the world looks, depending on what decision you make. Like if you kill the Star Child, everything's dead, and then everyone's just underground or something. It's like Fallout. Synchronizing with them, it's really weird hearing Shepard with a Reaper like filter over his voice. That's fucking trippy. Then there's controlling. Like they all have like their different like cinematics, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But still, I want to say the burn. It's like they were in deep water so bad. Oh my god, that's the deepest sinkhole like anybody could ever be in, especially as a company to try to get out of it. It's literally impossible. So the question is, Saint, what are they going to do about this remastered trilogy? Because they already stated that it's not a remake, it's not a reimagining. What do they do to make sure that the extended cut Mass Effect 3 doesn't remind people? Well, it's going to remind people, obviously, but like help like pour less salt into the wound. Make sure like how do they do it? Like how do they remaster it to make it easier for people? Right? How do they do it?
Man, honestly, I think there's a couple of options. Like I think the ending, the original ending, was what made Andromeda worse. You know, there would be no need for an Andromeda if those endings hadn't occurred. Like, I think there was no need to make Shepard die.
Like, technically, he doesn't die in
technically, he doesn't die if you're blah blah blah. but yeah, like I think it would be hard for them to look at the trilogy, remaster it, and like not think, okay, we need to do something about this ending, because it would literally be bringing more people. Like as you said, like there's new people that are interested in playing the original trilogy that they didn't have the chance to do it back when it was on the PS3 or Xbox 360. They're gonna come back and they're gonna be pissed about the ending too. Like if they don't change it, and they know that, like it would be so dumb to get more people mad.
Oh my god!
Something.
Oh my god! Why did I fucking think of this? Oh shit! This is like a double-edged sword. Oh fuck! But it's it's like the worst kind of double-edged sword. Oh my god! They might as well just fall on the stake right now. Shit.
Yeah, like it would be so dumb for them. Like it would be such a dumb move to not at least change that. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be a complete remake or a complete reimagine, but like it's just the ending. Like if they do not take the time to change the ending and bring more people to Mass Effect for them to be pissed off at them too, that'd be super dumb.
Yeah, and guess what? They announced Mass Effect 4. Imagine the fucking build up to that, and people are going to be not interested because I'm like, well, you guys kind of fucked up. You guys fucked us in the ass again on this. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm still trying to get the other steak out of my ass, and you just shoved another one up there. All right.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry about the vulgar comments, people, but that's how people felt like though. They felt cheated, and they felt betrayed in the worst kind of way. Yeah. A steak up the ass is the worst kind of betrayal. You think it's a knife in the back? No.
It's a steak up the ass.
It's a steak, and then you twist it.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't make sense, man, honestly.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And even Mass Effect 4, like, you can't fix Andromeda, man. Like, Andromeda, there's so many things that you left, like, without answering, that making another Andromeda would be super hard. Because I think people already have this thing. Like, they hear Andromeda, and it's like, I don't know if I want to go back there. And it's not necessarily because it wouldn't be, a great game, but it's because they already fucked up with they already fucked up the idea.
The ending for Mass Effect 3 is like the equivalent of the entirety of Mass Effect Andromeda. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like there'd be no need. Like literally Andromeda is the ending of Mass Effect 3 just extended for like 20 hours. Like,
the extended cut.
The super extended cut.
It extends all the way out to the Andromeda Galaxy, motherfuckers.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was so half-assed. So I think they're in a pretty hard position. Like, if they change something to the ending of Mass Effect 3, I think they're probably doing so to put Mass Effect 4, like, to give that an entry.
Right.
I think that's a good possibility.
That's a great point. God, Okay, we're doing more collabs later on. These are great points. These are fantastic. This is Saintwolvinn, in case anybody's wondering. Okay, links are going to be down below once this video is finished, so feel free to check her out.
Woo!
Woo! Party. Okay, so.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's a great point because this is their one chance to really bring people back, right? Seriously, like this is the biggest chance, high stakes, high reward kind of game. And you know what? I gotta give props to BioWare having the balls to re-release something like this. And like think about it. They could have, like, EA is a part of this too. EA could have been like, fuck no, you guys sucked ass before. We're not doing this shit again, right? Because they put Andromeda on ice, or Mass Effect on ice because of Andromeda, and then they saw Mass Effect 3 went. They're like, no. They're like, I already gave you a second chance. Even though Anthem was a lot of EA's handiwork. But they're, like, EA and BioWare are both, I don't know if they're completely okay with this, but they both came to an agreement to make this happen, and it's kind of bizarre that it is happening. It really is.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So, God, with that said, it's like that article, you've probably seen it. A lot of people have seen it. This was like the big leaked article that supposedly some kid or Q&A guy saw and witnessed and stuff. Or whatever, some player tester.
The Kotaku thing?
Yeah, some really lowbie position who had all this leaked information about the Mass Effect trilogy. Hey, he wasn't wrong, guys, by the way, that this remastered trilogy exists. Okay, he wasn't wrong. It does. Which I gotta give him props for that. But at the same time, there was a lot listed in there talking about, all the stuff that they're gonna change or add and blah, 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 right? But the biggest thing is, like, the cut content, and you can let me know after I'm done spewing if adding the cut content is feasible. But maybe whatever was cut out of Mass Effect 3 originally, or any of the games, will make it so it's added back in there, because this is a good opportunity to fucking do that, and it'll help solve the entire crisis, which was Mass Effect 3, and then we get the closure that we wanted. And besides the cut content, right, they'll tweak some things here and there. They'll probably add more lines of dialogue. You guys gotta understand, there's gonna be re-recorded lines for this remastered trilogy of all the actors and stuff. Oh, you better believe it, because I don't know. I see this being a very high possibility, because for one, all the actors got together again and stuff and talked all about it, and I mentioned it. I'm like, I could see the BioWare hiring these guys again to do it, to add in some lines that weren't in it originally to help solidify the entire experience, and it probably goes with the content. But all this stuff is possible for them to not necessarily change, but maybe not change, but alter it in some way, or work some voodoo magic shit. I don't know. Do they have like a shaman at BioWare to sprinkle some BioWare magic, or whatever you want to call it? Like, they can do it this time around. And with what you said, saying about, like, their asses are really on the line. There's a lot of pressure. There's going to be so much pressure going into this. And when we see the first gameplay of this, or a gameplay trailer, of what's yet to come, that's gonna make it or break it for them too. Okay, this teaser trailer that they did was pretty great. I got super hyped for it, but that was only the beginning. What we see in the coming weeks or months is gonna really decide, and BioWare's got to be like sweating at least 2 pounds a week of all this stress and pressure, because they're working on so many things. Oh fucking god! And it's during a quote pandemic, So. What do you think, Saint?
Man, I think it's gonna be really tough, man. Cause it's what we said earlier. Like, I think if they don't, like, put their act together, if they don't get their act together and put out a good game, like EA, like, they're gonna be another Dead Space developer, right? That where are they? Exactly, and it sucks. But, it's being sadly realistic, like, why would like objectively, why would a publisher keep a developer that's not bringing in any money, that it's only getting complaints? Anthem is a shit show, but the
Yeah.
fact of the matter is, BioWare still developed that shit show. Like, EA didn't do it, BioWare did.
Yeah.
BioWare made the decision to put Andromeda in the hands of people that have never made a game. They made the multiplayer for Mass Effect 3, but they didn't make Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 was also, it was actually rushed. Mass Effect 3 was rushed, so there was a lot of cut content. Hell, From Ashes, that DLC was supposed to be in the original game, but
Oh
they
God.
decided to
Yeah.
release it as DLC. So
And
that says a lot.
real quick,
I think.
and you have to fucking pay for it. Okay.
Yeah, that was fucking absurd. Like that was and it made so much sense to have like Javik in the original story.
Yeah,
But
it did.
he wasn't, you need to pay extra for it. So I think unfortunately, like it says a lot. It says a lot about how BioWare is right now, like organized. It's getting worse by the minute. Like Mass Effect 3 ending, it was bad, but like you can get through it. Andromeda, damn, what a disappointment. Like it's not a terrible game. Like it's not something where you're like, oh my god,
No, it's not
disgusting. Yeah, it's not the worst. Not what people usually said it was.
But it's
for
the
a Mass
bottom.
Effect
It's the
game-
bottom of the barrel out of all the Mass Effect games. Like
Exactly. It's the very
that's
bottom
enough
of the
said.
barrel.
Like that's just. I'm sorry, folks. That's just fact. It's not subjective, okay?
Yeah, and it's true. Like regarding story, regarding like everything, it is the bottom of the barrel in Mass Effect. And then they release Anthem. That Anthem, dude, it like didn't it like make your console shut down out of like fucking nowhere? Like
any problem you could think of. Okay, if there's any explanation or any definition of Murphy's Law in a book, the picture of Anthem would be there. Okay, everything that could go wrong with the game definitely did fucking go wrong for Anthem, and
yeah,
that game and Andromeda were the really nails in the coffin. Okay, somehow surprisingly, Dragon Age Inquisition it got Game of the Year, and that was fantastic. Like good on BioWare for doing that. So it's really and it's funny. We can see BioWare coming, rising from the ashes. No pun intended. Mass Effect pun. Oh, that's terrible. Because a lot of people hated Dragon Age 2 because that was severely rushed, and then, but I could say from my perspective and a lot of my friends' perspectives, a lot of anecdotes here, but also from articles that I've seen, Dragon Age Inquisition was a great comeback to the series of Dragon Age, to the franchise, and it got Game of the Year. So I guess that means something, right?
yeah.
So BioWare can learn from their mistakes. It's just, do they know what they're doing? And they definitely didn't with Anthem because there was no leadership at all at that place, and it caused multiple lead developers to leave the studio to go and work on other stuff, like multiple people. It's crazy. Yeah. Just to list one big one is Drew Karpyshyn. You all right?
Yeah, my phone fell. I'm sorry.
That's okay. She dropped the mic, yo.
Oh Jesus Christ!
But Drew Karpyshyn was a huge part of BioWare for the longest time. He worked in Knights of the Republic and Mass Effect. He wrote books for Mass Effect and Knights of the Republic. So you get the idea. He was a big player. Casey Hudson wasn't there for Anthem or Mass Effect Andromeda, not for the longest time, and
yeah.
Anthem was in development for about 8 years, and yeah, look how that turned out. So now that we have Big Boy back, taking the reins, I think this is some guy who's been a leader in BioWare for so long that he knows what he's doing, and hopefully, I don't know how long the remastered trilogy's been worked on. Hopefully, we find an answer out for that. But there's been rumors circulating about that for 2 years now, so it might have happened as soon as Andromeda was done, or a little bit after. When we started to see bits and pieces from Casey Hudson, yeah, the adventures of Mass Effect are not over, la 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 la, some really cryptic shit. Some marketing crypto, and it could have been a year, 2 to 3 years, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But oh god, it's still crazy that it's real, right? Um, so with that said, I would say just hold on to your hats because it's gonna be a wild Normandy space right. Oh, another Mass Effect pun.
Jesus.
All right, see, this is why you guys don't watch me anymore. You watch Saintwolvinn. You go watch her
Please.
after this.
I fucking wish.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go rest in a
Wish.
coffin after this. Rest in pieces. So, and that's just the Mass Effect Remastered trilogy. So going back to your points you made before, you did mention like they have to fucking get this right, or else no one's gonna give a rat's ass about Mass Effect 4 as much as they should, because no one's gonna trust. No one's gonna trust BioWare, and definitely not EA. And but BioWare, this is their one wild card. This remastered trilogy is wild card edition, okay, for BioWare. That's how. This is a Hail Mary of all Hail Marys, because it really is. It's a very gutsy thing for them to do, because from what we saw from the article that Casey posted, he's like, oh, well, you fans want a remastered trilogy for so long, and it's like, geez, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Please remind us why we liked you in the beginning, because not everybody knows BioWare before Mass Effect. Like, I started playing BioWare stuff without even knowing back in my Baldur's Gate days, and I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing in that game. But I really started to know BioWare when Knights of the Republic came out. That was when I, knew how to play RPGs properly, especially like that. So I've been with them for a very long ass time, for 20 plus years, and you know what? There was a point in my life where I just didn't want to hear anything about BioWare, and I made an entire video about it, Saint, and I was serious. I was like, we shouldn't care about them anymore because they're not doing shit. All right, my rant's over.
Just like, okay, I'm done.
Oh my god, I need a martini. Wait, you had tequila, right? Do you have any more tequila you could ship over?
I wish, dude. I don't. Shit's expensive.
Right, export costs. I could probably barely afford that. I'm in survival mode, for real.
Yeah.
I need to put myself
definitely.
in cryo. Freeze my bills too. Throw all my bills in cryo with me.
Oh, that'd be great.
So I wake up.
Just leave them there.
Yeah. But the shitty thing is, these guys who put me in cryo will know the inflation cost for how much I'll owe when I wake up. I'm like, fuck, I couldn't escape it.
Damn it.
It's gonna be like, instead of like, just a spitball number, like $350 for rent today standards. 100 years from now, it's gonna be like 1,000 or something. I'm like, oh
Jesus.
god. Hey, inflation, it does that.
Yeah, it happens. Man.
Fuck.
Why, BioWare? Why?
So let's. Now we got that out of the way. I think people can get across where we're all coming from. I think it's fair to say that. Now, let's talk about the positives to this. Okay. Now I'll ask you, Saint, and then we'll kind of go back and forth here. What are you most excited about with the remastered trilogy? What got you hyped up?
Honestly, I'm seeing that Tina, she's writing something about the Citadel DLC. I think that's honestly what made me more excited. It was definitely the Citadel DLC, because that DLC is so good. Like, it is just spot on. And if you
Yes.
mix that with like From Ashes, I think that's what has me more excited. And
Wait.
possibility of changing the ending.
Okay, but just a remastered trilogy as a whole. That's what you're most excited for, right?
Yeah, because
Okay.
honestly, again, Mass Effect 1, it was watching paint dry. Like, I've played that game so many times, and I've been bored with it so many times, but because I don't like the pacing. I'm not a big fan of the pacing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not that excited for the original Mass Effect. But Mass Effect 2, also with the Shadow Broker DLC, I'm also excited about that.
Oh
And-
yeah, DLC is amazing for that game.
Yeah, I'm mostly excited for like the DLCs for 2 and 3. I think
Okay.
those are going to be really fun.
So
What about you?
me?
You.
Okay, so I've been playing Mass Effect since the first one came out, right? And
Yeah.
if Yeah, for the first of its kind, I don't want to use that as like an excuse for it being like, yeah, the pacing, like it can be a little boring, especially like world exploration. Like I completely understand that. Like after you beat Mass Effect 1 like a couple times, then you're like, okay, I seen all that I could see. Honestly, it does the paint does dry really quick in that game. But when I was okay, so when I was first playing this, I had no fucking clue what this game was about at all. Here's my humble beginnings with Mass Effect. Um, I knew who Bioware was faintly because I barely remember me even knowing what Bioware was when I was playing Knights of the Republic. I just I remember seeing the title of course when I'm playing the game, but I didn't realize it until like a few years later. I'm like, oh shit, that was a Bioware game. Um, but when I saw Mass Effect, the first thing I saw about Mass Effect was just images. Okay, just images. Just they had three images of this game. Saint. It was a close-up shot of a Solarian, a close-up shot of I think the same Solarian, or I think like a different angle, and another thing was showing like Shepard's crew, but it was like a mock-up version of Shepard where he looked pretty different, um, and I was like, what is this game? Like this looks really good. Like the graphics were phenomenal looking. When I was first seeing screenshots back in like 2006. Um,
Yeah.
like I was like, this game has caught my eye. I remember telling my brothers about it. I'm like, this. I don't know what Mass Effect is, but this looks awesome. It just by the three pictures alone, folks, just three pictures, I was already getting a good idea about this game. And then the first trailer came out for Mass Effect. It wasn't even like a teaser or anything. If I remember correctly, the first thing was just showing what you can do in the game, and it had Casey Hudson talking, um, and he was just discussing like, "Oh, this is what you can do in Mass Effect. We're gonna talk to this guy and say these decisions and stuff." And like me watching this, it's like it was my reaction was so hype. It could have been like corny, cheesy as all hell reaction video. Like it was that great. I was like already on board for this game. And then when it came out, I was sold. I was sold as soon as I started playing. Like, the introduction to this game, to Mass Effect, is so well done. So, Mass Effect is great when it's more linear, when you're doing cinematic or really like single player stuff, and less on the exploration with the Mako and stuff. But when you're doing the concrete stuff, it's phenomenal. Despite the pacing, which I completely understand, and like your gun shoots like a stormtrooper's blaster rifle. Because the accuracy is terrible. But besides that, it's like the writing is spot on. The characters are great. It was such a great opening chapter to the Mass Effect franchise. It was so good. And from beginning to end, I remember I was playing the end part, beating Saren. That entire segment, that last level, was so hype and so great. And then you get to the part where Shepard's like, it's not over. We got a war to prepare for. And then he just walks off. And then you see this really dope-ass like background of like whether you went Renegade or Paragon, right? So it's blue or red image of like some space background. And then Shepard's just standing in front there and is playing this super hype music. And then this really cool credit theme song starts playing. And you're like, holy fuck shit. This is amazing. Sorry about the cursing. But that's how it was. Like it was a great introduction to it. So, but now when I play it compared to the second and third game, you're like, yeah, I can understand why they chose the pacing on how they did for 2 and 3, and then they took it to Andromeda. Honestly, Andromeda plays well in terms of gameplay and stuff. It's really fun. That's like the only good part about it. But 2 and 3 is still good. So with Mass Effect 1, like I think I'm most excited to just experience everyone's journey again and seeing what made me like Mass Effect to begin with. And I'm really curious about Mass Effect 1 because supposedly Mass Effect 1 has been giving them a lot of issues. That's why it was supposedly delayed. The entire franchise, the remastered trilogy was delayed because of Mass Effect 1. So it got me thinking, it's not a remake or a reimagine, but it's like, is the pacing going to be the same, or are they going to make it to where it's like Mass Effect 2 and 3? Like, there's so many questions, Saint, that I need answers to. And I think the internet's exactly like that, too. Because when you hear that it's not a remake or a reimagining, it makes people like I said, cautiously optimistic or sometimes cautiously pessimistic when you hear stuff like that. Um, but yeah, bottom line, just excited to go through this entire trilogy again. If Mass Effect 1 still has the same pacing and everything, but still looks better and just looks really nice and clean and up to date, I'm still gonna be fucking stoked. Okay.
Yeah.
This game is still better than Mass Effect 1 is still a better game than Andromeda. Let that sink in for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. That's that's actually kind of sad.
Yeah, let that sink.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
but now that I like okay, like they're saying actually I'm looking it up so that, we can have some faster like,
Ooh.
hands-on info. And it's saying like okay, so they're not it's not a remake or a reimagine, but they're updating textures, shaders, models, effects, and technical features of 3
Yes.
games. Like
Yes.
it's not like it's maybe like okay, I understand that maybe like okay, you can make a remaster, but it's as close to a remake as you could probably think of. Because
Yeah.
nowadays, like, I mean, yeah, Mass Effect 1, you know, graphically, like, it's really behind. Like, you can
Yeah.
get to understand, you can, to this day, I think that if you play something that has PS3 graphics, you're not gonna die, okay? It's decent, okay?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. But if you play something that was back for the Xbox, back when Mass Effect 1 came out, that's a little bit too old for most audiences at least.
Yeah.
So
2007. Yeah.
so if they're saying, okay, so if they say like, oh yeah, we're not making a remake or reimagine, but we're literally changing all of these things, like it seems very close to it. Like I think they're saying that more to not frighten,
Yeah.
the diehard fans.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be in the middle. Um, I want to say like the core values and the foundation of the game is still going to be there. Everything you do in these games are pretty much going to be the same. Like you're going to go to this mission, you're going to do this, you're going to follow this storyline, but there might be some tweaks or some alterations to how it was properly executed. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Mass Effect 1's pacing is changed to 2. It wouldn't really change the entirety of the game, not really. Um, but we're gonna get to see what they do with that in terms of like you said, graphics and all that, and shaders, technical stuff, and cut content. God, I hope they add that stuff in because there's definitely enough space for it because they're still working with a decade-old franchise, So they definitely got
Yeah.
the memory for it, even if they're upgrading the graphics and stuff, or but we don't know by how much. Um, and yeah, it makes you wonder. It really does. And that's I'm glad you said that. That they don't want to scare people. People like I'm like I said, still scared that it might end up they might end up shooting themselves in the foot with this.
Yeah.
But this is something that they got to be really like 110% with. Like they can't be lazy at all.
Can't half-ass it like
No.
Andromeda.
No, you can't have this. Oh, we started working on the game really in the last few months. No. You can't do that with this trilogy that's already out. Like the work's pretty much done for you. You just gotta find a way to make it, put some nice bows or add some bells and whistles in there to make it look like it's a modern version of the game. And then, if you feel comfortable enough with making it better by adding things that should have been in there to begin with, that's fine. But
Okay.
don't fix what's not broken. That's what I said about Mass Effect
Yeah,
1. It's not a
exactly.
broken game. By all means, not. Buggy, maybe a little bit. It's clunky, okay? A lot of
Yeah.
games first in the franchise are always clunky. The Witcher 1, clunky as all
Yeah.
fuck. Gears of War 1, clunky as all fuck. Halo 1 is not necessarily clunky, but it's, how do I say it? It's restricted compared to what you do in Halo nowadays, of course. But they're all humble beginnings. God, it is the catchphrase of the fucking.
Yeah, it's gonna be humble beginnings, man. Just
God. Well, I need like a Pee Wee Herman like thing play. It's like, you said the magic word.
Oh
You
my
said
God.
the phrase.
Jesus.
But
Oh,
I
God.
think we can all gather where I'm coming from. So, um,
Yeah,
I think
and
being excited for DLC. Okay, let's talk about the thing that you're excited about. The DLC for Mass Effect 2 and 3, like Mass Effect 1 really had one, and it was kind of just you're exploring an asteroid, and the only really good parts is just when you're actually doing the combat and talking, and that's pretty minuscule in that game. But anyway, it was still fun. It was still cool because you get to see
Yeah.
that Batarian in Mass Effect 3, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
If you decide for him to leave. But Mass Effect 2 and 3's DLC they're fucking awesome. The Citadel DLC is another way to make us help us feel better about Mass Effect as a whole, because you do the Mass Effect 3 Citadel DLC right before the last mission on Earth, and the Citadel was supposed to be the final like goodbye, but then but BioWare kind of fucked themselves over. They couldn't put that DLC after you beat the game like you could in Mass Effect 2,
Yeah.
So they had to really, really filter, or not filter, fill in the gaps that we are the souls that have left us, the hole in our hearts after we witnessed such a debacle with the Mass Effect 3 ending. Like Citadel DLC was supposed to remind us, like, oh yeah, I do like Mass Effect. This is fun. even if it was a ton of fan service, I don't really give a shit about that. Like that's fine. Like the fan service was well deserved because I feel like we did deserve something positive after the Mass Effect 3 ending crisis of 2012.
Yeah. Definitely. No, definitely. Man, I'm honestly, again, like I'm really cautiously optimistic. It's what you said. Like I think that it's a little odd because they're usually ones to like boast what they're doing, like the second that they're doing it.
Yeah.
But they took a while. Like if they're
Yep.
saying that for many months, they've been working hard. Like why did they say it now? Like I think they're taking more of like a Bethesda-y approach, that they're kind of like announcing it when they're close enough to be able to show you a decent product, and when
Yes.
you're like sure enough. Like they're, for example, we know that Mass Effect 4 has been like in really early development for a while now.
Yeah.
So like it's funny that we know that before we know about the
remastered
Mass
trilogy.
Effect. Exactly. I think they're taking it really carefully. I think they're putting a lot into this. Hopefully.
Yeah, because it's such a sore spot for a lot of people still. It's such a sensitive, I guess, thing to work on, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Like, if they want to do that, they want to, go with this. How do I call it? Like blitzkrieg type approach, and just go all in, throw all their cards in. That's fine. Like I said, this is a high stakes game with this legendary edition that's going to come out. And I said in videos before, I'm like, some companies do this. They announce games the same year they're coming out. Bethesda's done that with Fallout 4. Paper Mario Origami King from Nintendo has done that. And sometimes I like that. I like big surprises like that, even though this remastered trilogy wasn't too much of a surprise. But still a surprise nonetheless, because it's like I'm more surprised that all the rumors have been true and that it's real.
Yeah.
Compared to like a normal surprise. I'm like, whoa, I had no idea they were working on this. And like, no, this was like the worst kept video game secret of all time.
Yeah.
And
it really
just
is.
the timing of it is really strange, right? It really is. So let's go to the last leg of this. Oh man, this is great. Saint, you're amazing. You're doing an amazing job. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
This is great. Yeah, she's gonna go places, folks. So remember, the links are gonna be down below. Once this is over. So the last leg of this is Mass Effect 4. Okay, I think we can all agree that we talked a lot about the remastered trilogy. We get an idea where everybody's coming from, at least from just from your perspective and my perspective. In conclusion, we just want this to work out well in the end, and we want to love Mass Effect again. So, don't fuck it up, BioWare. Now, with Mass Effect 4, now that N7 article said that we're in the early stages, and then you just said that they've been in the early stages for a while, and I agree with you. I think they've been in early stages as soon as they first announced it. I think they just don't want to get people's hopes up too much, right? I think that'd be a safe.
Yeah.
They want to play it safe this time around. Like I said, all high stakes game, even with Mass Effect 4. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm depending on how Remastered Trilogy does. I'm really curious to see how Mass Effect 4 does. It's like by that point, do you think we'll still like if, okay, we'll care about Mass Effect 4 if the Remastered Trilogy is decent enough or they do a good job. But will we care about Mass Effect 4? The remastered trilogy does poorly. If it's just a cash grab, right? Because we've seen those. Borderlands, I'm looking at
Yeah.
you. Uh, what do you think?
Man. Honestly, I think the fact okay, how Mass Effect 4 is gonna do is depending really strongly on how this trilogy is gonna do. That's why I probably think they're making the trilogy more of a big deal than the fact that they're working on Mass Effect 4. I think they're making that like even hell. I think the trilogy is even more popular than New Dragon Age coming out. To be quite honest,
Isn't that fucking
and
crazy though?
and
Holy
and it's
shit!
crazy, man, and it's crazy, and it makes you think like, okay, if they're doing this way, right, if they're making this such an important thing, like it, you can tell by the post, you can tell by how like they've been treating it, they're treating it like something important.
Very
I think they're
special,
doing
yeah.
that thinking about Mass Effect 4, because if you correct for some reason the ending of Mass Effect 3, if you extend it a little bit, if you give it more closure, if something. You do something with it, okay? If you do that right, you're giving Mass Effect 4 a leg to stand on.
Oh,
But if you don't,
God,
you're
yeah.
screwed. Like an Andromeda is gonna happen, and no one wants to see that. No one wants to see another Andromeda. That some people might like Andromeda, yeah, sure, but a lot of people don't like Ryder. It's just simply how the characters are written.
Yeah.
So it really, I honestly say that Mass Effect 4, it really really depends on how this trilogy is gonna go, man, because if it goes south, no one's gonna care. Like I'm happy with my trilogy and with it getting my remaster and buying it, blah blah blah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
But like that, another completely separate thing is trusting the developer that already butchered my favorite gaming franchise
Yeah. Yeah.
once. And like it's hard, like it's gonna be really hard to get that trust back, and without a proper ending in this remaster, without something more solid, I don't think Mass Effect 4 is gonna be that big a deal, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you, and then fool me twice, shame on me, right? Um,
Exactly.
if we keep falling for this debauchery, this schlock of of games that come out, this lack of respect for the fans and just developers, just you as a developer, like have some fucking dignity for your like backbone for yourself, right? Like give a shit. And I think
Give a shit, yeah.
like yeah, get your shit together. And Mass Effect Legendary Edition is the best way to prove that. And then yeah, I can see. I think they're gonna ride out the Mass Effect Legendary Edition pretty hard until Mass Effect 4 comes around. I think doing this will get people to really start caring about the franchise again as a whole.
Mm.
Like I said, Mass Effect's never been more relevant than ever before. Okay, this is Mass Effect is. It's cool to just see Mass Effect just once again filling people with hope and dreams, and that this all works out in the end. And then we build up to Mass Effect 4, where it's all going to come together. And yeah, if you don't learn your lesson from Andromeda or Anthem or Mass Effect 3's ending or Dragon Age 2, that's a list that's built in there. Um, Especially Andromeda, right? That's just the latest failure. Anthem, whatever. That's not whatever, but that's a huge failure in itself. But that's not Mass Effect. Uh, Andromeda
Yeah.
was just the end result of Anthem's poor development, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, this time it's like they have to know that they can't do what they did before, and it's like you want to like Mass Effect was on ice already, you know. Um, if this goes south, then Mass Effect is just gonna be dead, honestly.
Yeah.
Because who would
Yeah, it
like who
is.
would be stupid enough to get Mass Effect 4 after you released the Legendary Edition, and it's like you can't screw this up. Like this Legendary Edition, it's really hard to fuck this up. If you find some way to screw it up, for people to relive their precious memories that they had growing up with this franchise.
Fuck you, basically.
Yeah, like
Fuck
that's
you.
just a middle finger. Like that's just a middle
Yeah.
finger. So, like high stakes nonetheless, but it's like what the fuck, right? It's like you already have it all there. Just make it a little bit better, right? By just doing what you say you're gonna do. And then when Mass Effect 4 comes around, then we'll have been well fed from this great Legendary Edition that came out, and we'll be excited again. And then we'll just start talking about Mass Effect 4, and because like I said, Mass Effect's going to be the most relevant it's ever going to be for a very long time if they do it right. Or if they do it wrong, it will still be relevant, but not in the good way. It'll be more like a laughing joke, or an ongoing joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now with Mass Effect 4, let's just say that it works out, everything's good, we're super excited. What kind of storyline would you like to see for Mass Effect 4? Tina said something about the child of Shepard, and that is something I 110% would love to see, an offspring. But
Yeah.
how about you?
Man, I'm in a mix. I'm sorry. I'm in a mix of emotion. I'm kidding. I don't know, man. Honestly, first of all, I love Shepard. Dude, the voice actress, and in my case, I played Femshep, and I honestly think
She's
Femshep
amazing.
did deliver. Yeah, she delivered a better.
Oh, yeah. It's
thing
just,
than Mel Shep.
it's talked about a lot that she did a better job. Real quick, so I played Mel Shepard first, okay? Because I didn't like, I liked Mel Shepard's look in Mass Effect 1 and 2 better than default female Shepard, because she looked really bad, but I loved how they made her great looking in Mass Effect 3. And then they had an entire contest on how you wanted her to look, which was fucking awesome. And a redhead with green eyes, perfect. If they put that, they're going to put that for Mass Effect 1 and 2, by the way, Saint. That Shepard from Mass Effect 3. I can't fucking wait for that. Okay. Anyway, yeah. My point is that I played male Shepard for so long. When I went back and tried female Shepard a little bit, I was like, this is weird. I remember male Shepard saying it like this, but he said it like that because he's a guy. A guy will be a little bit more aggressive and gruffy when he's saying certain things. So I wasn't used to female Shepard. But then when I played the female Shepard, the entire trilogy last year on stream, I was like, okay, I'm fucking sold on female Shepard right now through all 3 of the games. So anyway, continue. Just had to put that out there.
No, yeah, totally. Man, I honestly don't think. I think it has to be something related to Shepard. I am fine with it being Shepard. Like, there are this is a huge universe, man. There are so many ways to tie those endings together. So many.
Yeah.
That it could affect the 4th game. An example, let's say you chose synthesis. Let's say it's a catalyst, right? Let's say the catalyst just decided to synthesize you again as Shepard. That's a possibility. Let's say the Reapers, they decided to put you again. Like, there's so many opportunities there for Shepard to be alive, right? Long enough at least to have a kid.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it's. I think anything Shepard related, I believe, would be the best call for Mass Effect 4, because they made a protagonist just such like a core part of this whole franchise that it's really hard to put this universe somewhere where this protagonist doesn't exist. It's really hard. Like, this isn't a Dragon Age, right? And even in Dragon Age, you can get, like, I don't know, let's say you got emails from the Grey Warden in Dragon Age Inquisitor. Emails. Emails. You got mail
Dragon Age
from
email.
Yeah, Dragon Age email to just send it.
Horse and
Dragon.
buggy. Yeah, through a dragon. Yeah, Harry Potter's got the owl, but the Inquisitor has a fucking dragon. Take that, Harry Potter.
Yeah, no owl, just a dragon. But yeah, it's that. Like, this isn't a Dragon Age, When you started Dragon Age, you already knew, like, it was one game, then another, and you knew that there was always going to be a different protagonist. That they're all going to be linked, but they're different every time. Mass Effect didn't work that way. Mass Effect created 3 games, engaging with the fans, creating the relationships, and then just one game they was like, okay, I'm done. Goodbye. All right, we're done here. Let's go to Andromeda with this simple ass writer that I have here that doesn't do anything. And You know, the Anderson. Who was what was that bitch's name? Addison. Yeah, that her face was bored or tired. I don't know, something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
my face is tired.
Yeah, no, screw that,
Biggest
man.
troll.
That's what I think. Basically, just
Well,
either Shepherd or Shepherd's kid.
yeah, and you know, Bioware was really weird, right? Because Mass Effect had one core character, one main character, right? And that was Shepard. And Dragon Age had three different protagonists, which is really strange how different they went on the franchises, right? On both of them. And
Yeah.
I want to say that Dragon Age kind of they do have a protagonist problem because they can't make up their mind. But at the same time, I didn't mind all the different protagonists because
Hmm.
they were just like pieces of a puzzle, which made the
The
entirety
whole thing.
of the story come
Yeah.
together, which is cool. I think they did a great job. Despite Dragon Age 2 being everyone's least favorite, I liked Hawk. I thought Hawk was cool. I didn't have a
I
problem.
liked Isabella. She was an asshole. Sorry, go ahead.
The Inquisitor I thought was cool, and then obviously the hero of Ferelden was pretty cool. And then Dragon Age 4 is going to be a different person, which is going to be interesting. Um, and you can here's the crazy part. You could separate each Dragon Age game and consider them their own entity, their own
Hmm.
game, a standalone game. Mass Effect you can't do that because it's got the same protagonists, same characters, and everything. But every single Dragon Age game has different characters, and Dragon Age 4 is not going to be any different. Um,
Yeah.
just really mind blowing way of doing stories. It's like three different games for Dragon Age. It's really crazy. Overall, majority they did a great job. But with Mass Effect, you're right. You can't have a Mass Effect 4 if it stays in the Milky Way. You have to have something Shepard related because people are gonna want Shepard even more after release Legendary Edition. You know, people are like, oh man, I forgot how great Shepard was as a character, as a protagonist. And you know, Shepard isn't just a golden poster boy either. I like Shepard because despite it, look, I know there's Renegade and Paragon choices, and they're pretty black and white in Mass Effect 1 and 2, but in 3 is when they really started to go gray, which I liked a lot in Mass Effect 3. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, there were some really oh shit moments. Like, was that the right choice? Which, you know, I appreciate that they went that way. But I'm just saying, like, even if you went black and white choices with like Renegade and Paragon, Shepard, I get the idea that Shepard is kind of like an asshole in a way. Like Shepard's a smartass. I think we've gathered that. I think
Yeah.
that's just military type personality because you know they throw quick jabs at each other or kind of have sarcastic humor. That's just how it goes in the military lifestyle. Which I was fine with it because Shepard's still saving the galaxy and everything. He's still a good guy at heart. Well,
Hmm.
if you go the
A good person.
if you don't turn into Terminator Shepard by the end of Mass Effect 2, which is fucking hilarious by the way, which I thought was cool they did that by the way. By the way,
Yeah.
coolest way to go from like dark side and light side. From like Star Wars Knights of the Republic, you can look really sinister and stuff, dark side, and they found a cool ass way to make it look in Mass Effect 2 and 3. I thought that was awesome that they did that.
Yeah.
But I agree. An offspring of Shepard, you don't have to make it such a big existential crisis thing with like the first trilogy. You know, it's kind of like after Thanos was defeated by the Avengers, right? Like, where do you go from there? That was that was the hype. That was the pinnacle. The same thing with the end fight with the Reapers. Like, where do you go from there? Something solid and simple. Something down to earth. That was definitely not a pun I was trying to do.
Jesus Christ.
But something that doesn't even, maybe the Reapers can be involved, but not so on a scale to where it's like, oh my god, the galaxy is going to be in ruin again. There's another threat. You know, we don't need that again. We can just have a nice, solid story like Shepard's maybe part Reaper now, and he's somehow you got to save him or something. You know, like he turns rogue like Saren did, and it's kind of like role reversal, which I always thought was cool. And if not to go on this huge thing here, but so something really grounded story like that, like something so simple they can do it properly, and then an offspring of Shepard would be the coolest thing, because it's like, man, what happened to my dad? There's no like, because they're gonna probably say that Shepard's just missing in action, even though his name's on that plaque on the Normandy saying he's deceased. Fuck that. Like, as an offspring, you'd be like, no, my dad's not dead. and like you hear rumors about Shepard being alive, or they seen like this figure wearing N7 armor. It's not Legion, it's not Conrad Werner. Okay, it's legit Shepard, you know, and it's like causing mayhem or something. Anyway, so Child of Shepard sounds really cool, and I think you could use the same voice actors for Shepard.
Yeah.
Whoa, we sound exactly the same. That's crazy. No, I'm just kidding. But if you don't want to play human Shepard, they better put like hybrid species. It's gonna look weird as shit, but they could do it. Like, I don't know, an Asari or a Turian offspring, like hybrid. That'd be so fucking wild to see.
Either way, like for example, like there's always like there's so many options for like kids. Like you could be like, oh, he adopted a child with Tally, or
Yeah.
he had sex with Liara, so okay, that it's an Asari by default. You know, something like that.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah. It'd be super cool, man. And it's not that hard, honestly. Like
No.
there is an easy way to put all the endings together. Like
Yeah.
we could just
yeah.
the only thing you would have to do is probably like just scrap the worst ending possible. That I think not a lot of people did that unless they like barely played the game.
I think the worst one was Control. Because Destroy was like the whole point of like your entire adventure. Yeah, you want to destroy the Reapers and stuff. And then synthesize. You know, it's like you work out an agreement. You come down the middle. Although it doesn't seem like it in the end because you're being controlled in a way, always being watched. You're like one giant collective. Like you're basically like the Geth.
Yeah.
But something so cool like that, and like default companion relationship would probably be Ashley Williams, you know, or Kay Nolenko, which Kay Nolenko.
Who did you kill?
I killed Caden all the way. You get like I did not like Caden at all, because, God, I don't know. He just bothered me. Just the stuff he would say.
He just bothered me. He was like this brooding character. He tried to be like a brooding character.
Yeah, he was like a Cloud
miserably.
Strife or a Batman. I'm like broody Batman, like really broody Batman. Like no one likes that. Like I don't give a shit about you. But he does get the worst rap though, because you know he's the epitome of a tragic character pretty much. It's like he's just doomed from the start. I mean, Ashley can be doomed from the start too, but Caden, you know, they kind of set him up for failure. But, here's the thing. BioWare isn't going to be as stupid as Disney with Star Wars, where they erase the entire canon of expanded universe and all that, and then not have anything to release properly because all their source material is gone. BioWare is not going to do that, and neither is EA. EA is not that stupid. They can do a lot of stupid shit, but I don't think they're that dumb. I have faith that BioWare would never do that. They wouldn't even agree to that. I don't think they would. Although it makes you wonder, right? But Mass Effect 4's got, like you said, it has all this source material. It's got all this stuff that's already happened with the original games, the books. I mean, shit, even Andromeda, blah, 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 you know. I'm just saying, like, they've expanded out to another galaxy. That's what I'm trying to say. So they have plenty of room and plenty of tools to use to make a solid story.
They can make it like separate too.
Yeah.
You know, like make Andromeda a separate thing from the original trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Separate things
please
at
God.
the same time.
Please God, let there be a God for that.
Let there be a God for that. Yeah.
But then I remember mentioning this in another video. I'm not shoehorning anything here, folks. That I did mention that Andromeda can, in the Legendary Edition, it can be talked about. The Andromeda Initiative can be talked about because this is doesn't have to be solely focused on it, but you can hear bits and pieces about it because supposedly the mysterious benefactor is the elusive man, right? But we never knew that for sure, but everyone guessed it was. But they can kind of sprinkle Andromeda back in there. I wouldn't be against that because Andromeda has such a cool concept and idea, but it was just executed poorly. Okay, that's all it was. It was just failed. It's just failure, but it had cool ideas and concept designs. So they can trickle that back into the Legendary Edition because that came out after Andromeda. They can do that, and then also they can talk about it in Mass Effect 4 because maybe this will be many years down the line. Maybe we'll receive some type of message from Andromeda somehow like some signal, and then be like, whoa, and then somehow it leads to Andromeda 2 because Mass Effect 4 is like an introduction to Andromeda 2. I don't know, like something like transitionary piece like that. But
Yeah.
my point is like there's so many possibilities. It's a fucking sci-fi game, okay? There's a galaxy full of whatever you want. You can literally make up whatever you want, and you know, you just have
Get away with it.
Bioware, you just don't have any excuses anymore. Coming for you.
It's the truth.
I'm coming in on a dragon with Saint.
Yeah, and an owl.
Okay.
An owl from Hogwarts.
You can be the Inquisitor. I'll be the owl that'll perch on your shoulder, and then
Jesus.
Shepard can be the dragon.
Then just fucking like takes my shoulder off with Talon, just like.
No, they'll be clipped. No, they'll be trimmed. Not clipped.
They'll be trimmed.
Yeah, trimmed. You know. Maybe it'll be like the mechanical owl off of Clash of the Titans. I think that'll feel better.
Did you ever play Sly Cooper?
No, but
I heard
good things about it.
An owl. They had a big owl. They had a big ass owl.
Man, talk about a dead franchise. That's a franchise they need to bring back like they did with Ratchet and Clank. But that's another topic for another time. Ooh, dead franchises. That could be a great discussion for the next Niko show if we do a collab again, which we will.
Nice.
Well, any last things you want to talk about before we get the F out of A?
No, honestly, just that, you know, we're waiting. That's the only thing, we're waiting, and that, dude, if BioWare is basically depending on this Legendary Edition going good, because if it doesn't, they're screwed, man. They're fucked.
Yeah, really. I think we can speak for everybody that they're all thinking the same thing, honestly. Don't go in with blind optimism, folks. Go as cautiously optimistic. That's a little different.
Don't waste your money. Don't waste your money until you see, you know, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Don't be like me. I bought a deluxe edition and here I am, Andromeda-less.
Yeah, same here. See, I'm gonna be that guy. As soon as the collector's edition is announced for Legendary Edition, I'm buying it. Oof, this will be the only collector's edition I ever bought for a game, and Mass Effect's gonna be on there. Oh,
definitely.
So guys, in conclusion, look, we all want Mass Effect to end up being back on our list or radar for being one of the greatest things we ever experienced. We want a Legendary Edition. We just want to be reminded why we fell in love with this franchise to begin with, and we hope and pray to the maker that it works out in the end for BioWare and for us consumers, because as Saint so well put, yeah, go big or go home, because if you fuck up on this, then you're pretty much fucked for the entirety of Mass Effect from here on out. Big thanks to Saintwolvinn. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you had fun. It was definitely a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, man.
And for anybody listening out there, I appreciate it. Here, I'm going to shoehorn, like, yeah, you're welcome to unfollow NikoTheLegend, unsubscribe, all that good stuff. And follow Saintwolvinn. Like I said, once I'm done here, once the video's uploaded, I'll post the links to her channel and everything. You can check her out. We're pretty much after the same end game here, okay? We both love Mass Effect, and we both want it to succeed. So Pathfinders, I hope to see you again, and then yeah, I'm gonna go get into my mechanical owl costume and fly to wherever Saint's located at, and we're gonna go BioWare raid. Just kidding. Okay, I'll see you guys.